I'm going to show you how to get set up to do calligraphy on your iPad for the very first time. First, we'll need to download an app from the App Store called Procreate. This is what the app looks like. If you've never downloaded it before, you'll have to purchase it. Right now it's around $13. If you've downloaded it before, like I have, it might have this cloud icon if you are reinstalling it like I am. So you either buy it or just download it. As this is downloading, I just want to make a note. If you do delete the app from your iPad, it will delete everything you've ever made inside of Procreate. So please make sure to back up your files in iCloud or just on your files on your iPad if you want to delete and reinstall the app for any reason. Also, if you do get a new device and you re-download the app, you will start fresh. Once you finish downloading Procreate, you can open it. And when you open it for the first time, it will have some default artwork in here. If you want to keep that artwork in there, that's fine, but if you want to get rid of it so you can start fresh, you can, on the canvas itself, swipe to the left and choose delete. Once you delete something, you can't get it back, so just make sure that you're not deleting anything you still need. Also, just a tip, you can preview what's inside of a canvas by zooming in like this. You can even scroll through almost like a photo gallery, but to actually enter the canvas itself, you have to tap on it. So this default artwork that's here, now we are inside of this artwork in the canvas. To get back to the gallery, you can tap gallery up here. So I'm going to delete these default artworks. So this is what Procreate looks like when you have nothing in it. To create your own artwork, tap on the plus sign in the top right corner, and for now you can just choose screen size. So now it opens up a new canvas that automatically is the size of your screen and has a white background. Some other defaults are the brush and the color that are chosen. When I go to the brush studio by tapping on this brush icon up here, you can see that there's lots of default brushes that come with the app. So all of these brushes were already on here. These are brush sets. Within the painting set, you can see all these really cool brushes in here. You can go through and look at other sets. There's just a huge variety of brushes in here for you to explore that work in different ways. And then just quickly going through these settings, the brush library, the smudge brush library, and the eraser brush library all look exactly the same. They all have the same brush sets and the same brushes within those sets. What's different is how these brushes work. So if you want to actually draw on your canvas with paint, you would choose the brush icon. If you want to erase what you've drawn, you would choose the erase icon, and that will erase. Okay, so right now nothing's happening because my opacity slider is all the way down. Also, I don't even know what erase brush I have chosen here. It looks like I have the smoke brush chosen for my eraser. If I wanted to erase with that same round brush, I could go in there and it erases with that shape. Or you can use the smudge brush and smudge things around. So the smudge brush that is chosen right now is this one right here in the painting set. You can change the color by going to this dot in the top right corner, and Procreate already has some color palettes in here for you. You can change the color a few different ways. If you're used to this classic menu where you change the hue right here, you can use this, or on the disc you can change the hue around the circle and the saturation in here. So if it's showing up black when you draw and you want it to be whatever color you have chosen, let's say you want it to be red, then you have to actually move this black dot over to the red area in order to get red. So I encourage you to play around with all of the different brushes that are in here. There are a lot that I haven't even tried out. There's some really cool effects that you can do with these default brushes, and then of course you can buy and download brushes that other people have made. You can also create your own. It's really fun to create your own brushes. You can have these color dynamics, all these different settings inside the brushes that are designed to help you create an effect. So we're going to talk about calligraphy. There actually is a calligraphy set in here that have some brushes with cool effects, like this one looks like chalk. You can explore what all of these look like in here. I'm going to show you how to get started with our calligraphy brush that we designed to practice calligraphy. So to get our free brush, you want to go to your browser on your iPad. The default browser is Safari, and then go to lovelyloops.com/freebrush. And here you're going to see this page, and you'll be able to, you can read through what's included, but to get the brush, you'll just have to type in your name and your email address and tap send me the brush. So then you'll want to open up your email on your iPad, whatever email address you used to sign up for, and you'll get an email that looks something like this. It's here, your free Procreate brush. You want to tap on the purple button that is inside this email, and this is going to take you to a Google Drive folder. If you don't have Google Drive app installed on your iPad, then it might open it in your browser. And if it opens in your browser, it will look something like this. So you can either download the Drive app or just open it in your browser, and you can actually change the view of how you're seeing these things by tapping on this little icon right here. This makes it like a list view, and then if you tap on it again, it changes it to this gallery view, so it just goes back and forth. So if yours looks like one or the other, you can change it here. It doesn't really matter what it looks like. So then you want to download the brush, and the brush file is right here, Loveleigh Calligraphy Practice.brush. So .brush means it's a brush file that can be used in Procreate. We also have a folder in here with some traceable practice words that you can download. But I'm going to go back to this folder and tap on the brush. And then it's probably going to say something like couldn't preview file. So this is not like an image where you can actually view the image. You'll have to actually download the file and save it to your iPad. So just a little tip, if you're not sure where your file downloaded to on your iPad, if you tap this little arrow right here, it'll say downloads, it'll show the brush, and then if you tap on the little magnifying glass, it will open your files and show you where it is. So mine's saved in my downloads folder, and it's right here. To import the brush into Procreate, all you have to do is tap on the brush file and it automatically starts importing and reopens Procreate. This is where we were before. Now if you tap on your brush, it's still going to have selected whatever brush we were drawing with before. To find the brush we just imported, if you go to the very bottom, there's a brush set called Imported. Tap on Imported, and there is where you're going to see the brush that we just downloaded. Okay, so this is our calligraphy practice brush, and I'm going to show you how to clear this layer. So a layer, you can think of layers like pieces of paper, and you can add layers on top of each other. So if I add another layer on top of this one, then I can independently draw from what was already there. So just as an example, if I draw with green on top of here, because it's on a separate layer, if I open up my layers panel, which is these two squares in the top right corner, and I uncheck this layer, checking it will turn it on and off. But if I turn it off, then you can see the green scribble that I drew on a separate layer remains separate. If you want to clear an entire layer, you can just tap on the preview of it, this little rectangle right here. Select the layer first and it will turn blue, then tap right there and choose clear and it will get rid of everything. So if I want to clear off layer 2, you can do the same thing, or you can just delete the entire layer. And you can delete a layer by swiping to the left and choosing delete. You always want to make sure you're on a new layer when you start writing something. And if you try to write on a layer when it's turned off, it might give you an error message like this. All you have to go to is the layer menu and turn it back on. So let's download some of those traceable practice words. If we go back to our Google Drive folder, either on the Google Drive app or in your browser that we had open before, and go to traceable practice words, there are a few different ones in here. I'm just going to tap on this one, Friendship iPad Calligraphy Practice. And again, it's not going to be able to preview it, but if you choose download, it should download it to the same location where it downloaded your brush. Again, you can find it up here. And now in your downloads, it will show you that .procreate file. Again, you can change the view between a list or an icon view right here. Also, to import a Procreate file, it's just as easy as importing a brush file. All you have to do is tap on it and it will automatically import it into Procreate. Okay, so you might be wondering where the file is. It's still a blank screen. You actually have to go back to your gallery, and you can tap gallery in the top left corner. And now you'll see another file in here. So the file we made before is called Untitled, and this one is the worksheet that we just downloaded. So I'm going to tap that and open it. And here are some practice words. So I'm going to make sure I have the brush selected, the Loveleigh Calligraphy Practice, and then here are a few notes of what size the brush is set to. So I'm going to change this size slider. If you make it bigger, then the brush will just write bigger. Okay, so what I just did was I tried to write and it says locked layer. So if I go to my layers and open layers, I forgot to add a new layer on top, or I forgot to select that layer on top. So right now the template, which is where the words are, is locked, and that just means that it won't let you write on it so that it keeps a clean copy of it. You can go into your layers and tap on the practice here, select it in blue, make sure it's checked on, and now you should be able to write. So increasing the size of the brush or decreasing it with that slider will change how big it is. I'm going to use 2 fingers and tap on the screen to undo what I just did, or you can use these little arrows in the bottom over here to undo. You can also redo if you accidentally undid too much. Okay, so now I'm going to choose the color that it says here, and you can choose a color either by typing in a code to get a specific color, or a really handy trick is if you tap with a finger and hold on the screen and then drag over to that color and then let go, it will automatically change it for you when you release. So now that blue color is selected up here automatically. Okay, now I'm going to zoom in on these words, and the way that this brush works is when you apply pressure, I'm going to increase my brush size to say 15%. When you're writing and you press hard, 2 things happen. It changes color and then also gets a little bit thicker. So right now I'm using really light pressure. I'm not pressing very hard. And then now I'm going to press hard as I move down. And it's changing color to that lighter blue, and it's also getting thicker if you compare the width of the line. And that's what will make it look like calligraphy. So I'm going to use 2 fingers and undo all of that. Then I'm going to zoom in on the word friendship and start tracing by following the arrows. Every time you go up, it should be a thin stroke, and every time you come back around and down, it should be a thick stroke. And that's what our brush was designed for. It was designed to create that pressure variation with the thickness, but then it also, because it changes color as you write, that helps you understand how much pressure you're applying. So you know if you're seeing that lighter blue color, then that means that you're adding pressure. So we have this word written for you in a couple of different styles. You can trace over it, and then when you're done tracing over it, if you want to see what your calligraphy looks like by itself, you can go back to your layers and then check the checkbox next to the template, and it will leave your calligraphy. So if that is the first time you've ever written a word in calligraphy on your iPad, congratulations. We are so happy that you found iPad calligraphy because we love it so much, and we have tons of resources for you to continue learning with us.